This is NSCA's Business Question Series. My name is Brad Malone with Navigate Management Consulting, and we are an NSCA business partner. Today's question is, we often don't invite sales or sales engineering into our project postmortems. We assume they won't listen anyway. What's the best practice? Well, one, I would change the word postmortem to lessons learned. Postmortems, I've been in many, being an ex-rescue person. So they're not healthy. They're not fun to be in. Lessons learned are how do we take the lesson from that project forward? So another thing that happens in postmortems is we tend to put blame, shame, and a whole lot of should in there. So lessons learned are for the people who weren't there. Sales and sales engineering often have an optimistic view of projects. They're often the people who are estimating projects. They often don't understand risks because they never realize the risks. Operations tends to have to eat the risk. So it's an education conversation back to sales and sales engineering. How can we improve, not me as a project manager, how can you improve like my projects? It's how do we improve our projects? And so it's that closed loop conversation. And without closed loop conversation, what we often get into is this either aggressive or passive aggressive finger pointing back to sales and say they never learn. Well, actually they do when we actually educate them as opposed to blame them. So I think it's mandatory, especially when we have projects that are outside of like a 5% variance. If they're all within 5%, we're doing good anyway, yay. But if I'm under by that much, I'm going to say yay again. If we're over, our budget was way over what we anticipated, then we need to understand what was the cause of that, what were their assumptions, what were the conditions, how can we educate to either put in better scopes of work, better assumptions, or better estimates. So again, best practice, it's a mandatory practice to close that loop. We're in the same company, we're not competing, we're not silos that point fingers.